Today, we are talking about a path to homeownership that doesn't always get the spotlight, but it can absolutely be a smart move, and that is buying a mobile home. Now, before you picture something straight out of an old movie with aluminum siding and squeaky floors, let me stop you right there. Mobile homes today come in all styles and sizes. Some even have quartz countertops, some have walk in closets, and of course, some still have the shag carpet, but sometimes that's part of the charm. So, what makes buying a mobile home different from a regular home? There's one big thing. When you buy a mobile home in a park, you're not buying the land, just the home itself. The land continues to be owned by the park, and you pay a monthly fee to live there. Usually, they call it space rent. Now, this means that you're usually going to get a different kind of loan other than a traditional mortgage. This is called a chattel loan, not a cattle loan. You're not buying a cow, a chattel loan. Think of it like this: if buying a regular home is like buying a house with a yard, buying a mobile home in a park is like buying a house with a parking spot that charges you rent, if that makes sense. So, chattel loans 101. Let's break it down real quick. A chattel loan is kind of like a car loan. It's for movable property. Although, ironically, most mobile homes aren't actually mobile anymore. But these loans actually carry a higher interest rate than a traditional loan, and they are for shorter terms, usually between 15 and 25 years. So there's also, on top of that, not as many buyer protections as a traditional home loan. Sometimes there are even private investors that are lending on these properties. So, not every lender offers them. So, it's very important to work with someone who actually specializes in them. Trust me, you don't want to be explaining the difference between a traditional loan and a chattel loan to an loan officer who's never heard of it or who continues to tell you you can use FHA if it's on private land, but I can't actually do it in a park. That happens a lot. Sometimes even loan officers are not aware of how to finance these things. So, next hurdle, park approval. Even if you get approved by a lender, the park has the final say on whether you get to live there. It's like applying for an apartment, kind of. There's an application, credit check, income requirements, background screenings, and sometimes there's even interviews. Some parks are family friendly, some are 55 and up communities, some are 45 and up, some don't allow pets. One of my clients actually had to submit her dog's vaccination records and a glamour shot. Not even kidding you. If the park doesn't approve you, the entire deal can fall apart. So we try to handle the park application really early in the escrow to avoid heartbreak. The next thing that's a little bit different is inspections and titling. So, inspections for mobile homes are just as important, sometimes more than traditional homes. So, you'll want to check the foundation system if it's on one, the life of the roof, especially for the older homes from like the 70s, plumbing and electrical, and the inspector needs to be familiar with looking for signs of leaks and aging materials when it comes to these. And there's also a curveball. Title transfer isn't done by the county like a normal home. It's actually done through the California Department of Housing and Development Community, or HCD. And it means that escrow has to be experienced in mobile home sales. And not every escrow officer knows how to handle those. So, again, working with the right team really matters. Now, let me tell you one of my favorite mobile home moments. I was at a property doing a home inspection with one of my clients, and the inspector's doing his thing, and I'm taking notes. And this adorable couple walks up and they're like, "Hi, we saw this home in passing. Can we check it out?" And I was like, I'm sorry, this home's already in escrow, but you could just like see their faces drop. So I said, but you're in luck because today I'm your real estate fairy godmother. Cue the sparkles. I introduced myself, gave them my card, and said, let's get you pre qualified with my go to chattel lender and find your home. And we did. They were amazing to work with, excited, realistic, and ready. And a few weeks later, they had the keys to their own place. Different park, different unit, different part of town, even, but it was all theirs. And I even got some cafecito out of it. Moral of the story, sometimes just showing up starts the journey. That was serendipity. Some costs to expect when you are purchasing a mobile home. They can be more affordable, but there are still several costs to keep in mind. So there's that space rent we talked about. Here in San Diego, it does vary pretty widely. I have seen space rent as low as $950 a month and as high as $2,200 a month. So keep in mind that's on a monthly basis on top of the payments that you're making on your chattel loan for the house itself. So remember that chattel loan has higher interest. It's a shorter term, so the payments tend to be a little bit higher in comparison to if this was able to be financed through traditional sale. So property taxes are a little bit different because they are the registration fees depending on whether it's personal property or if it's like a certain kind that's registered as real property. Those ins and outs, they can differ per the house, and we can talk about those when we find the right one for you. There are possible park application fees as well. Sometimes they ask you for a fee upfront to even look through and consider your documents and to do a background check on you. Also, of course, repairs and upgrades. Some parks actually require a certain standard before move in, even if the house was set up a certain way before you purchased it. Sometimes they update their rules and regulations, and you just have to comply. There's no getting around it. So, is buying a mobile home a little more complicated than people think? Yes. Is it impossible? No, not even close. Is it worth it if you get into a safe, comfortable, and affordable home? Absolutely. It's a very inexpensive way to get your foot in the door here, especially in San Diego. A lot of places tend to see depreciation with mobile homes, but here they pretty much hold steady or actually appreciate in value. So that's a good thing for us here locally. If you are curious about this route, talk to someone who's done it. Me. I've walked buyers through the park approvals, through tricky title transfers, the loans, the inspections. It just takes the right guide and maybe a little cafecito on the way. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Keys and Cafecito. If this episode helped you, send it to a friend who is house hunting. If you feel so inclined, please leave a review wherever you're listening. It helps more future homeowners find their way as well. See you next time.